Okay, students, this is the how-to video on the paper relief sculpture project. As you can see here, I'm pretty much set up and ready to go for the beginning steps. What you need to do is you need to draw a silhouette of your face or someone else's face, and then you need to create a border around the edge of the paper like you see here, and then you create a border using that outline of your silhouette. Create a border about a 1/4 inch, you can go with that, and then you just make a couple connecting bridges from the border to you. You want to try to place it ideally, I don't know if you can see it, but I drew one right here, right below my nose. Not a great place for that, so be thinking on how you do that. Then what you do after you've drawn those borders, what you do is you draw consecutive layers going in. You basically just draw another outline but smaller inside each shape, and you just keep drawing those. So I have 11 on this big one. Now a little trick when you're doing this, depending on how you want it to look, what's going to happen is we are going to start cutting out these layers as we go on separate pieces of paper. So I numbered these so I could help keep track. As you can see, there's a split between this one here and that one there. And what I did was I started on the very outside edge and numbered it. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and I went all the way down to 1. But then if you look, this one right here, number 3, if I follow this, goes right there, okay? So then I could say this is 4, and I go to here, 3, 2, okay? Then what I'm going to do is go to the outside edges, and I'm going to start at 11. So then I know this is how big. Here I started in the middle and then counted out, right? So now here I know that 11 is my highest. So 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Go down here, that's a 5, that's a 5. Here, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Okay, so it doesn't go as low. Same thing, that only goes to 7. This one goes down to 5. So each one's going to be a little bit different, but this is how you number them. So I started here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then I knew I could start with 11 on all of these. So do this one first, okay? Now this doesn't have to be anything fancy. You just need the silhouette. This is just your template for the other ones. So once we get going on this, I'll explain further too, but it's a pretty simple thing, and it's going to have a pretty cool look, all right? Alright, so now we are set up. We need a cutting board, you need a utility knife, some kind of knife, X-Acto knife, and you need colored paper. Now, if you don't have any colored paper, you just let me know, I'll get them to you. But you need as many sheets as there are numbers there, okay? And we'll probably just need one more, but I'm going to leave that one for now, alright? So what I did was I put them in kind of an interesting pattern. It's sort of random, but then not at the same time. So then I picked out colors that I liked, kind of fire themed, and then I threw in a blue and a teal just for fun. Okay, so I've got all my colors there. What you do, have them in your stack and ready to go. Alright, so this is going to be my base layer. So I don't even need to cut anything out of there because it's going to be my layer number 1, and it is the base. So just kind of see that this will be the very bottom. Okay, so then I'm going to take my next color, orange, and this is going to be my number 2 layer. So I've got number 1 already, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut out the number 2 layer. Now I'm going to do this in any section that's got a number 2. So what you need is you just need to make sure that you check each of your sections. Okay, so I've got 2 there. Oh, there's a 2 down here. I'm going to cut it out there. Okay, there's no 2 there, there's no 2 there, there's no 2 there, there's no 2 there. Alright, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up with my main paper. I'm going to get my second layer there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace around the edges of this outline. Now you could go ahead and then cut this if you want. I think I'm going to wait with all my colored cuts and do them last. Okay, So I've got that. Now I can go ahead and cut out number 3. Check it over, no 3s anywhere else. I'm going to put this under there. And again, there's no other 3s. So now I have my outline. Okay, move that over. Now I'm going to cut out number 4. Okay, and there's no 4s, so I'm still good there. Next color. And on we're going to keep going. So consecutively stepping up each number, cutting away each section, on and on, further and further. Alright, so I've got them all marked off. I'm just going to quick visual check all of them. They all look pretty good. Alright, perfect. So, what I'm going to do then is go through and cut each one out. Okay, so basically, that template was there to help move forward and kind of mark everything off so everything will be consistent. Now that we've got that, now I need to cut out these same sections. Okay, I'm starting at my top one and I'm going to be working down. So I'm only cutting out what was before, and progressively I will be getting bigger kind of bars going across. Okay. All right, so as you can see here, we're getting wrapped up on the project and we're kind of layering it in. I lost some of my footage, technical issue, I'm sorry. So you didn't get to see me laying the first 3 down. You can put a lot of cardboard on the back. You don't need a lot. Main point is to put it around the holes, especially for those first layers, and then put it on the edges and in the corners. So really you could get away with doing just the edges, like along the edge, in the corners, and then making sure that there is like 2 next to the hole, so make sure it holds up. A nice little trick I had learned, probably a little too late, is make sure that you put the cardboard in the same spot. So then if you make sure that you put some kind of close to the edge near the corners, put it in the exact same spot on the next layer. So then when you put each layer of cardboard on, it kind of has that cardboard that's underneath of it to hold it up. So it's like if I'm building bricks and I put one here, then I'm putting one on top of it, and then one on top of it, and one on top of it. But if you put your layers in, you put cardboard here under one layer, and then you put your other cardboard like here, it kind of works, but then this one can push down to the next layer and it makes it more difficult. So layer your cardboard on top of each other works way better. So with this, it worked out pretty well. It's not too bad. I would make sure that you don't go this thin. Maybe the blue one is probably better. This red one is a little too thin, narrow, and I can see the cardboard if I look at it from the right angle, and that bothers me. The blue one seems like it would be wide enough to hide the cardboard, not a big deal. I've got 11 layers in here. That many isn't completely necessary, but it's up to you how many. 5 or 6 would work, but the more layers you have, the more interesting it is visually and the deeper it is for the relief. But that's your choice, what you want to do as far as the depth. So make sure you stack your cardboard. Take your time. I use stick glue in the demo, and it kind of worked if you've got the right stick glue. You can see there in the last ones, I was using this purple stuff, and that seemed to work better. But it was a little bit harder, and I kind of felt like I was rushing it some. But if you used liquid glue, white glue, Elmer's, you could just layer some down, put the cardboard on, let it be, walk away, let it dry, come back, put your next layer on, more cardboard, let it dry, walk away, come back later. And you could take more time with it and kind of go a little bit slower. That would work good. So I wouldn't rush it too much. Take your time, do a good job. Again, the template is very helpful. Just consecutively building each layer. But yeah, it's a pretty nice project. It's pretty fun. I like the end result. I think I will be continuing it overall for future sculpture classes. I'd love to know what you guys think when you finish it. Good luck.